Ladies and gentlemen, I recently saw this image on the internet, which appears to make two claims. One, California has the strictest gun control laws in the country. And two, California has the most active shooter incidents, implying, I assume, that gun control doesn't work. When I see something like this, I immediately have some questions. I know some of us like to think of a state government as its own entity, entirely separate from the citizens of that state, but remember that the government, state or otherwise, is made up of citizens, many of whom are elected or appointed into office by the people they represent. So when you have a law that is obviously not working, there is a tendency for the government to self-correct in a way. Not always quickly, but it'll generally happen eventually. Often that is because the officials get replaced or because the officials are worried that they will get replaced. For example, in my state of Washington, police were prohibited from pursuing fleeing vehicles unless certain strict criteria were met. The intention was to limit the dangers a pursuit creates for the general public. Not a bad thought, but it created other negative repercussions, such as an apparent increase in non-pursuable crime, so many of the pursuit restrictions were withdrawn. We don't always know what's going to reduce crime, but if we try something and it doesn't work, we tend to stop trying that thing. That being said, if California's gun control laws are so ineffective, why are they still in place? We'll get back to that. The other thought that immediately came to mind when I saw this was total incidents versus incidents per capita. California is very large. In fact, it's the third largest state by size and the number one state by population. So it's not strange that a place with the most people might have the most crime. This is why crime rates are often calculated by capita, or how many crimes per X amount of people there are. This image was posted in 2023, and it just so happens I have an FBI report on active shooter incidents in the United States in 2023, which defines an active shooter as one or more individuals actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill people in a populated area. So let's look at the data, and okay, yeah, sure, fine. California has the most with 8, and oh, look, my state ties for second with 4. So yes, California does have the most incidents, but does it have the highest rate based on population? To determine active shooters per capita, we have to determine population. Washington's Office of Financial Management estimated Washington's population in 2023 was 7,951,150. California's Department of Finance estimated California's population was approximately 39.11 million. To determine the amount of active shooters per million people, we divide the number of incidents by the population and multiply it by 1 million. For California, that gives us 0.2 active shooters per million people, but in Washington, my state, it's 0.5. So it seems Washington was actually worse than California when it came to active shooters around the time this image was posted. But wait, Washington implemented some very strict firearm laws in 2023. Some are even stricter than California, so although it proves the image is not technically correct, it is missing appropriate context. You have to take population into account. For example, if you don't, you could accurately state that Death Valley, California is safer than Dallas, Texas, because Dallas has more gun crime. We just have to ignore the fact that the population of Dallas is 1,500 times more than the population of Death Valley, a place with death in the name. Are we seeing why maybe per capita is important? Yeah, let's return to that. But first, let's look at what states have the least restrictive gun laws. According to ammo.com, the 10 gun-friendliest states based on current gun laws, current purchase laws, current CCW guidelines, reciprocity between other states, sales tax, current governor's voting history, and stand-your-ground laws are New Hampshire, West Virginia, Arkansas, Montana, Mississippi, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, South Dakota, and North Dakota. Newsweek reported similar, using data from Giffords Law Center, and listed Wyoming, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Idaho, Montana, Mississippi, South Dakota, Kansas, and Arizona as the 10 states with the least stringent gun laws. Both of these articles appear to have been posted in 2024. The states listed by both websites are Arkansas, Montana, Mississippi, Missouri, and South Dakota, so let's focus on those. The Newsweek article has an interactive map that shows gun death rate per 100,000 people. Now, this isn't the same as active shooter rate, but we've already shown California did not have the highest active shooter rate in 2023. So, looking at this map, we see California has a gun death rate of 8.7. Keep in mind, lower is better. South Dakota has a gun death rate of 16.1. Arkansas has a gun death rate of 22.1. Missouri is 24.4. Montana's is 24.5. Mississippi's 29.7. I don't know, folks. It kind of feels like maybe having strict gun laws might, in fact, reduce the amount of gun crime. But so what? Criminals don't care about laws? This only hurts the law-abiding citizens, right? Well, no. this won't solve gun violence, but strong gun laws make it easier to prosecute criminal activity involving guns. Now, do keep in mind, I'm a soldier. I own a gun. I like owning a gun. I intend to keep owning a gun. But I also recognize that this image is just an image and not an inherent herald of fact. Fight for your rights. Yes, reasonably, please. But arm yourself with accurate information. Have you seen other images on the internet that you think may be inaccurate? Describe them in the comments section, and I may make more videos addressing those claims. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, like, subscribe, and be good. Stay safe.